All right.
Got it.
So, how's it going, Gabriel, these days? How are you?
Hey there. Everything's going great. Thanks for having me for this developer update for Nunu Spirits. Looking forward to sharing with your community and our community, because you guys helped us get where we are today. What's happened since basically since the IDO or slash TGE. So a lot of things have happened, and yeah, let's get right into it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been like for a while after we launched, and also market going down. I like have like a bit tough time right now, but yes, of course, communication and the dependence in the project, and also what we're going forward, and make clear about the things, and that we can like the same together going forward, and also, and it's really important between us, and also all for the community.
Super cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Super
So
cool. Yeah. Well, we really appreciate the opportunity to set this up with you guys, and happy to answer questions. I have kind of a list of things that I want to share with you guys, and then Guru and Reza have agreed to ask questions if I don't get to everything, because it has been quite a bit. It's quite a while ago when we did the IDO, and then market kind of went down, so the TGE was slightly delayed, and then it's been it's been 2 months since that. So we're getting close to the end of our cliff period for you guys. So you guys are going to kind of be curious what's happening with the project, because you're going to start collecting your NFT again. So first up, I just wanted to remind. Do you want to? Yep, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I won't like stop what you're saying, but yeah, basically like progress and the current condition, and also the apps as well. Yes, I was trying to like to check the apps, but I only have iPhone iOS, by the way, so I cannot download it. So the one
iOS Android, that's the problem.
I wanna of course I already like to check about the YouTube videos and how it is going as well, and I want to ask about the basic like application progress and the whole team like progress at the current stage or something.
Well, I have some good news for iOS users. We are looking at ways to basically build the app in such a way that it can be played in iOS off chain, and so you'll have access to the game and be able to play it and generate trees and things for the community, which will basically help bolster the on-chain side of the game. So we kind of have this kind of hybrid model, and we're still kind of workshopping it, and so it's pretty new yet. And I know a lot of games are looking at this problem, and so hopefully we aren't the only ones working on something like this. But we have a pretty solid plan, and we'll see how the implementation goes. It probably won't be until end of Q3 before we see any progress on this, and maybe even into Q4, because we need to make sure that the game systems are tight and right first, and then worry about porting to let's say difficult platforms like iOS. But right now the game is already playable in Mac environment, on PC, and an Android. So we hit the majors already, but we know that a lot of people still would like to be able to play on iOS. And so we're kind of looking at a signed versus unsigned app scenario where we can bring data from the signed app on iOS, and we can bring that into our ecosystem. But it's very difficult to put any information back into the iOS version. So the iOS version will kind of be like a light version. You can get in, you can play, and playing actually has an impact on the ecosystem. You just won't be able to use your NFTs, for example, in the iOS version, at least as far as we can tell. So that's pretty interesting, and it hasn't really been announced yet, or we haven't really talked about it too much. But it is something that we're exploring, and we're really intent on making sure that everybody can play. And it's also really important for Nunu Spirits as a whole, because it is a very casual focused game. It's not a very hardcore game, and so it's very much mass market facing. And so the more we can appeal to those users, the better. So if they can download the app from the App Store, get accustomed to Nunu Spirits, get into the game, realize, oh, if I sign up for, if I register for a Nunu Spirits account, I can also earn rewards on chain. That's pretty cool. I've never had a game that does that before. And so then they get this kind of taste or teaser for a blockchain game, which allows them to get used to the idea, the concept of gaming inside of a blockchain environment. And we think it's the better way to try and convert new users into crypto gaming, rather than try to get them to, sign up for a wallet, figure out which chain it's on, fund that wallet, make the mistake, click the wrong button, or find the wrong contract address, and then they lost all their money. I mean, you hear this time and time again. And we absolutely don't want any single one of our users to have that problem. We don't want them to run into that, because it's not necessary. This onboarding process is something that we're very good at, because it's what we come from. We come from this onboarding process of getting people into a casual game and playing it. And that's something that we can apply to the crypto space. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really important to going to also marketing from outside of crypto, especially right now. And so now there's a lot of market going out from the crypto, and crypto investor kind of really, always quick interest in this game field, and then move to project, and also going really quick interest moving over place, and also
exactly.
People rushing all the time right now. So we definitely need to acquire users from outside of crypto. And also we also try to do that as well. And then your unique point about to plant real trees. And then
yes.
Actually, how does mechanism work? How many for example, on this amount of money or something like that? And
yeah. So we basically, there's two parts to that. One is the NFT that you're collecting. The NFT that you're collecting is basically your link to the tree planting event that you're responsible for. So as a player, when your spirit levels up to an elder, that's when we say, okay, this tree was planted in your name at this date, and assigned to this specific NFT. And that's super important. We're selling this kind of altruistic action that's kind of packaged with everything else. So it's gamified, it's fun. And everyone can agree that planting more trees is a good idea. We all know we need to plant more trees. Whether you believe climate change is human caused or whatever, we can see direct impacts on ecosystems when we reforest areas that have been devastated by wildfires, farming, or clear cutting for timber. Every time we go into these areas and we reforest, we see upticks in the animal populations, in the soil quality, everything. Quality of life in general raises if we plant more trees. I don't want to grow up in a world where our children have to go out with a gas mask on their face. This is not something that I want. And so, the game started a long time ago, and this idea has always been bouncing around in my head. And, I have these little characters that I've been doodling, and, this one I made most recently, but they've been sketching and jumping around my head. This one is over 3 years old. This is where he started. This is the first Nunu that was ever sculpted. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool if the game, because the game was all about saving the Nunu, save the forest. Wouldn't it be cool if we could actually save the forest by playing a game? And then that's when we started working on the Dinox project. And we saw that these ecosystems were generating real value, fiat. You could bring fiat currency back out of a game. So people come in and they play the game, they commit time and effort and energy to it, and they spend money on it. And in the traditional free-to-play, you couldn't bring any of that money out except as in revenue as a developer, and then you could spend 20% of your revenue on planting trees, but that doesn't motivate the player to plant trees. The motivation comes from having that badge of honor. I planted this tree. Hey, come look at my Nunu forest, my sanctuary. I've planted 50 trees. You can see all my trees. I planted this one, it was my first one, and they can walk you through and they can tell the story of them actually making an impact and making the world a better place. And then you can say, okay, the game itself is also planting trees, you know, in reserve and stuff. I don't know how much everyone here listening knows about tree planting, but trees don't always make it. When you plant a tree, many things can happen. You know, there can be a fire, a deer can come along and eat it. You know, there's many. So trees do not always make it to a point where they're actually having a positive impact on the environment. So it's not just enough to just plant trees. We also have to guarantee that we're maintaining those trees and making sure that those trees are supported long term. And so we have systems inside of our game that also just plant trees that aren't on chain. They're just forests that we're planting to basically account for that mortality reserve. And those also generate real world value as well in terms of reducing carbon or selling carbon credits. So that's an additional source of revenue. All of this revenue goes back into this eco treasury, which allows us to both expand the world and basically pay for the services of planting the trees with our partners. So we take a small fee every time the user does the transaction in the game. A small bit of that gets rounded off and put into the eco treasury fund. And then of course, new sales for new seasons of NFTs. Those can be used to boost the system even further. So we can add new game modes. We can add new tree partners, new places that we're planting. Currently, we're planting in Brazil, Sumatra, Bali. Where else? Australia. And I'm sure I'm missing some places, but we're basically planting all of it. We're actually in talks with someone that's planting trees in Spain, and we have some people that we're talking to about planting in US. So we're looking at planting on a global scale wherever we can, however much we can, and just using this this idea of collective community to push that agenda, that green agenda, if you will, you know.
Yeah, what I'm thinking about is so they compare with 2017 or like back to 3 years, and now crypto itself is getting really famous. And for example, the governance or like the organization like try to approach the crypto world right now. And so the things before 3 years ago, people by the governance more strict and that we are not really interested in crypto, something like that. But now governance like trying to approach the crypto and try to hire more like a familiar person who are like really familiar with crypto. I had talked with one blockchain project, a top blockchain project, which was focused on sustainable blockchain and also like the work like caring about the environment as well, environment for also as well. So basically, if the governance or like organization, like say, as not related to crypto, basically, if they're going to try to reach to the crypto world, I mean, like if they try to do the business in crypto, they have to care about basically for sure the like the environment for the us for sure. So reach out to those organizations and also outside of crypto, reach out to those organizations on governance. I think it's really great ideas to like say getting more attraction and get more users from like the to the project. And then also, I am Japanese. Also, I have lots of connection in Japan. What I could do is, so there is a couple famous publication in Japan. The CoinPost is the largest publication in Japan, and also number 3 track in the world. So it's really high track. Japanese really loves to invest in crypto. So, and then but they have the due diligence. And then if you like have any plan and to trees in Japan. I have talked about cherry blossom trees, but it's already like
I would love to. Absolutely. Basically, we're open to any partnership with anyone working in crypto that wants to improve their green impact, or anyone who's already working in green space, doing ecosystems that reforestation. We have partners that are doing rainforest protection, coral reimplantation, not reforestation because it's a coral, but it's a coral forest still. And so, we have a lot of these partners. And the nice thing about our kind of the niche sector of the crypto space is that we're all working towards the same goal ultimately. You know, we're not competing against each other or fighting each other for, you know, users to, you know, just join our NFT and grind away in the play to earn model. We're looking for users who are interested in that, but more so like they want to leverage that towards something for you know, the greater good. And so it's really easy to partner up with people who have, you know, that same kind of passion for kind of pushing things further. And you touched on governance, and I think that's super important. And I think the more we can transition government entities into these type of systems that have oversight from crypto, transparency, you know, immutability, all of those things that blockchain kind of has all kind of packaged into it. And the best way that I can think of doing that is by showing people how to interact with a blockchain system by having fun, by playing a game. This is something that I've said many times, that from a psychological standpoint, the easiest place to learn, or the easiest way to learn something, is by playing with something. We as human beings, we learn about things from the first things we learn, we're playing with them. You know, when your mother smiles at you, you smile back, you know, and then she gets a reaction, you get a reaction. That's a game. That's totally a game. And so the game can kind of bridge that gap of understanding to multiple places. And so I think, yeah, as you said, connecting with these NGOs who are looking for, you know, more transparency in their actions. So, you know, we can put things on chain. We can encourage them to say, hey, we need to know exactly which trees you're planting, how many trees you know, where they are, you know, when did you plant them, and we need to be able to see that that has happened. And those companies are all basically being scrutinized from the other end. They're being looked at, and are you being you know, legit with your NGO, or are you just pocketing the cash and buying a, you know, a Tesla and saying you're green, you know? So yeah, we're definitely open to new partnerships. So anyone in the DAOLaunch community, if you know somebody who's working in the space you think we should talk to, that we haven't announced already, maybe we're already in talks with them, but hey, just shoot us a note, like say, hey, I think these guys would be really good to connect with, or hey, I know somebody at whatever, just let us know. And because, you know, ultimately we're all in this for the same reason, especially in this green space. Show people what blockchain can do in a way that not very many people are doing right now. So it's we just wanted to make a game to plant trees, and it got a lot bigger than that, you know. So
that's simple, but it's really like really great. Yeah, really great idea. And also, yeah, I will ask for like community about like during this like a movie this movie, the meeting for sure. I think there are a lot of people like got interested, and also like a lot of people like can help for sure. So yeah, after like adding a bit, and then also I will ask them just for sure. So
thank you.
I talked about the top. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yes. Top thing you are facing, discuss strategy, how to get over. I think we already talked. And then so okay, maybe I would talk about the future strategy and the milestone. Okay, milestone, the future strategy, I think.
Yeah. So I think we kind of touched on it a little bit in the hybrid model. So making sure it's available on all platforms, that's really important for us. Right now we're in the alpha phase. So we have 600 or a little over 600 alpha NFTs that have been distributed. So we have a pool of about 600 people in our community that have won from either Gleam contests or AMA rewards, this alpha NFT, which allows, it's basically like a alpha key that allows them access to play the alpha builds of our game. So maybe some of your community has already won, but I think there are still a few NFTs that we would like to distribute. So, you know, we have a number of activities and events coming up where participants will have an option to earn one of these NFTs. And so, yeah, just keep an eye on our social pages on Discord and Telegram, Twitter, and to be informed about those. Obviously, we share everything with DAO as well. So you guys, you don't necessarily have to come to us to find all the good stuff, but we also talked a little bit prior to this about doing another activity on the DAOLaunch community where we could do something like that. So we'll let you know about that in the near future. So yeah, more chances to get involved at this early stage even. But then coming up quite soon, Q3 is the INO and the initial NFT offering, followed by our beta release. So that's coming up super fast. You know, it's crazy how fast things go. But everything is still on schedule, which is pretty crazy because everything in the crypto side of things, as you said, is kind of crazy, and everyone's kind of like panicking. And but in the development side of things, everyone is like super chill and super cool and happy to be working on this project because it's really easy to believe in. And I don't know, that makes me really happy as the project owner, to see people. They're almost as passionate about it as I am, almost, you know.
Design.
So yeah, beta is really important for us because that the alpha is just about tuning gameplay and figuring out the direction of the games, but beta is more about how do these systems all work together. So step by step, we'll kind of basically unlock all of the features that are necessary for the game. So we'll start by using your NFT in the game. So that's the first one. Then what does your NFT actually do for you? You know, like adding abilities and stuff, you know, and then the earning potential. Where does the NFT provide that earning potential for you? And so these things will all be unlocked over time throughout beta, throughout Q3. And then in Q4 is where we're shooting for having, like, let's say a gold release or a global release of the game. So everything, all the core systems are in there. You're able to, you know, buy and trade and sell and lease your NFTs on our marketplace. You're able to play the games in as many platforms as possible. And there's some sort of basically reward pool in the play to earn side that, again, is replenished by the activities that come from everywhere else. And then making sure that kind of customer facing onboarding process is super smooth. And so that players can start coming in and start playing the game without having an NFT wallet or anything like that. They can start, they can at least see what's going on, you know. And then their activities and everything like that also contributes to the system. So that's kind of the long-term strategy at this point in time. We know that the games that we're building are fun because we've heard it from our users. They're like, this reminds me of Mario or Crash Bandicoot, you know, and to get a comment from that, you know, basically we started developing the games, you know, only a few months ago, really. So yeah, February was the end of our pre-production phase. And so we've established the systems to make new games and stuff like that. And we've got 2 games that are in the alpha right now. One game is coming shortly, maybe in the next 2-3 weeks, maybe 4. And then that basically will tune the gameplay and how the players feel in alpha. Moving to beta, we go into all the other systems. You know, once that gameplay is fun and relatable on a human level, then we can introduce the other systems. So iterative development, the goal is to be able to get players in the game who don't necessarily have crypto experience, but show them how to gain crypto experience through our game. And then, yeah, basically make sure that our game is super tight and right for everyone who believed in us and supported us from pre-sale, basically. That's the long-term strat. You know, what goes down has to come up, you know. So we'll basically keep chugging away on the development side of things and really focus, you know, the majority of our effort on that, so that when the market does start to recover, we have all of the tools, we have all of the materials and the hype building, you know, tangible stuff that people can just say, hey, okay, let's do this. And then we can just ride it.
Great. Yeah, that's very great. Yeah, I really looking forward to play the game as well, and for the iOS download as well. And yeah, so for the launch communities, and then you can always like check out about the Nunu Spirit Telegram, and also like their community as well. And I'll post all the information on the like these YouTube videos, and also like everything on here, and the Telegram community as well. And then just join the community, they ask everything in there, and also just join like say play game, and then also save the planet for sure.
Yeah, I mean, people can still play the demo version of the game for free. They don't need an NFT to play it. It's still around. So we have a very simple demo that's up. You know, it's still playable, so people can at least get a taste, even if they don't have an alpha NFT yet. But yeah, if you want to participate in alpha community contests coming up, there's chances to win. If you want to participate in beta, just get your hands on one of those INO tickets. So that you can guarantee that you get one of the only 3,000 season 0 NFTs in this first season. So it'll be a smaller pool, and the reason for that is we want to reward the people who are coming in early with the rarest of the rare, and we also want to keep the test pool manageable. So you know, we don't have like 10,000 users right away, you know, so that we can tune things and make things better, and so we can continue to grow it. So. Yeah, maybe I mentioned partners that we have. Recently signed some cool partners. One is called Crypto Wushu. It's this really cute chibi idle RPG with surrounding wushu martial arts and these characters, and they're all NFTs as well. But we like this idea of
I think
you know. We like the idea of bridging our worlds. We also have Eternals, which they're doing kind of more of a plant to earn, I think they're calling it.
Plant to earn.
Or So they basically have the idea that they're planting trees or sponsoring rainforest protection, and then the users are gaining an NFT that grows over time based on their efforts. And so they have these really cool biomes that are, you know, full 3D, beautifully rendered. And then there's Adanimals, or the Lovelace network. Adanimals is the game that's being released on the Lovelace network, and we're also participating with them with NFT exchanges. Of course, one of our very first partners, Brockman network. And then there's tons more that we haven't announced yet, but they're incoming. And one of the things we think is really important for NFTs in their long-term viability and utility is that they need to be viable outside of your platform. So you have of course, your native platform, right? But an NFT is a token that can be moved outside of that. It's not dependent on that system. And so we want to develop games in our own world where other NFTs can come and play. So maybe like a Wushu NFT can come and play with a Nunu NFT in our world. And then we can go over and we can do something in the Wushu world, you know, and Eternals, for example, we can have, you know, part of their biome NFT, we can host that in our world, and you can have your Nunus running, you know, we can connect it to our world. And, you know, so we're looking at all these kind of crazy ways to kind of expand the viability of NFTs across chains. And I think it's crucial for, sorry, Rez, go ahead.
Yeah, I think, like, you know, blockchain composability is one of like the biggest features, right? Like,
and everybody's missing it right now. It's like, why not? Like, let's do this. Let's put them together. Let's, everyone can do cross marketing.
In theory, like a SaaS subscription and a Nunu character NFT, they're both ERC 721 tokens, right? So
essentially, yeah.
You know, exactly. It's like you're only really limited
why can't we
by
use
your
them?
imagination. Yeah.
And we have the way we're setting up the kind of like the Nunu statistics and stuff like that. It's like on a scale, or so it's like a modifier. So basically, if you have like a run speed, but you're in a game that doesn't have a run speed, you don't need that modifier. You know, maybe it's something different, you know, or maybe the run speed is constant for everyone. Like in Nunu Adventure, the run speed is constant because the difficulty is based on the run speed. So changing the speed of your Nunu inside that game has a profound impact on the mechanics of the game, and it might break it entirely. And so we basically have this list of parameters that is basically used as a modifier for all kinds of games. So we can go from a top-down game, we can go to a side scroller, we can have a follow behind, endless runner, all kinds of things, and they all work together because the game kind of sets the main parameters, and then the Nunu modifies those parameters. The NFT, sorry, Nunu NFT is kind of the same thing, but that modifies the parameters. And so we can take those parameters and we say, hey, okay, so you guys over at at Animals, for example, what parameters are you using in your game? And like, oh, we have a jump speed, and we have a hit point total, and this. And it's like, okay, well, we can use these stats to kind of supplement that, and they can just plug and play and add those. And
wow.
So you have this functionality that kind of transcends the system, and that's important. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's amazing. Oh, great. Okay. Is there any for example, you would like to chat with some NFT, but the cute characteristic, or is there any criteria for
the criteria is like somehow it has to fit with the world, but it's pretty easy to, I mean, we're very creative people, so it's pretty easy to kind of figure out what it means. The projects have to be pretty straightforward. We look at the projects and we look at what they're doing. So we kind of do our own audit. Like, would we invest in them, as a project? And if we would invest in them, then we can partner with them, basically. So we're not going to partner with somebody who's just doing rug pulls and stuff like that. We're going to make sure that they're doing really strong, token vesting schedules, they're locking liquidity pools, all the standard stuff that you look for and you evaluate in a project. We expect, we do that ourselves, and we expect that of our partners as well. Obviously, anyone who's really looking to do something in the green space kind of has a foot in the door. They're kind of like shortlisted because we want to support as much of that as possible. Because as I said, I think it's a really easy way to kind of bring people into and see what blockchain can do. Yeah, so
in terms of
characters help, but
in terms of creating a character that could, like an NFT that could be like a playable character, is that quite technically challenging, or is it, if you have the parameters, then
it can be. One of the great things about the way we set it up is we set it up with a very simple 3D skeleton, 3D mesh, which is low poly, but is also downloadable in high poly for printing. That's a funny little extra +1. You can basically print your NFT collection at home on a home printer. But the way our basically Nunus are set up is we can export them in a variety of ways. We can export them as a 3D asset, like an FBX for playing inside of games, which is a very standard format for 3D assets. We don't have a lot of textures in our game, so it's quite performance friendly. We have players in the alpha right now who are playing on, as they call it, trash Android phones, old, subpar processors, and but they're like, game runs super smooth. I'm super happy. This is really exciting. And that was like from day one, we had that optimization in there. And so I think that kind of speaks to our experience and our level of skill and ability to create games. Yeah, so it's the characters can be exported in any way. We can export them as a flat image if we need to go into a 2D environment, a 2D dimension. And so we can have the two characters. We can render out our Nunu on the 2D plane, and we can capture that, and they can use that as a in their game. Or coming into our game, we can use the 2D sprite in a 3D scene with our 2D character, but set the camera up so that it doesn't look like a 3D character. It looks like a 2D character playing with a 2D character. So that was one of the main reasons we went with 3D characters, because of the kind of cross-chain functionality, Also, we think it's a stronger representation of what you should be buying in a digital asset. We're not super big fans of, just 2D JPEGs, that have been generated, because they just don't have that utility cross chain. And I think that that's going to be a requirement very soon for viability for new NFT projects. They're going to have something that is functional somewhere else, not just in their environment.
Yeah, that's right.
I wonder if we could at some point do like a DAO launch, Nunu.
Yeah, definitely. We've talked about this with a number of partners, and yeah, I think we could, because we have this system. I can talk a little bit about the Nunu generator. I don't want to kill everybody's time. Is it okay to keep going for a little while?
Yeah, sure.
We have about an hour, right? Yeah, we don't want to go too much. Okay, we got time. Okay. So the Nunu generator is basically like Mr. Potato Head. If you know Mr. Potato Head is like just a potato shaped thing with a bunch of connection points, anchors, and they have different ears that you can put on them, different nose. You can swap it out. You have different eyes. You can have the glasses. You can have the one without glasses. You can have the lady eyes. And so we basically have the Nunus that are generated that way. So we have basically a core head, which is also made up of different parts. And then we have all these different parts that you can kind of put on top of it. And then our Nunu generator basically takes those assets and it recombines them in unique ways, and makes sure that every single Nunu that we publish is completely unique. None of them are going to be the same. You're never going to have the ones, same eyes, same mouth, same ears. You're never going to have that. It's always going to be somewhat different. And so we basically have the ability to generate a special batch of Nunus, which could, for example, be a DAOLaunch branded Nunu, and we could have all DAOLaunch parts, and then when we generate the Nunu, we can have, let's say, okay, the DAOLaunch Nunu that has all of these parts is like super rare. There's only like 1 or 2 of those. And then, the next one has like 4 out of 5 parts, so, but then there's, a bunch of different combinations of, what that Nunu could look like. And then the other one only has 4 or 3 out of 5 parts, and so that one, there's like maybe, 30 of those, so we can have more common as you go, as you get less like exclusive, so if you want the full DAO, loadout, that's the rarest of the rare. So we can do that for sure. Like, I'm totally open to that kind of thing. If your community is really gung-ho about that, we can do a special, basically a special booster pack that's maybe only sold on DAOLaunch, for example.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, we're going to optimize NFT platform as well, and very soon, and also like the NFT farming features, which able to stake tokens to farm NFT as well as the features.
That's perfect, man. Let us know how we can help. Because we have some NFTs.
Great. Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
But I think NFTs are really really a strong way to back projects. And to get the development funds necessary for them. And I think they come with a lot less baggage than tokens. Not to say that the token system is wrong, but I think it's quite difficult to design a token, set up a token, sell the token, then maintain the token. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you have to do that has nothing to do with making the game. Whereas if you're building an NFT experience, it comes with a lot. I mean, there's no SAFT. You can just sell the NFT. Like, here's the NFT. You give me money for the NFT, and I will give you this to use with your NFT. And I will work my. We will do this as well with it. And I think it's a more relatable and understandable model for fundraising games in general. And I don't think games will be doing what we did in the near future, with the 3 token economy. I think it's just too complex. That said, it still gives us the flexibility to do some crazy cool things, like generate this eco treasury. So I'm not regretting my decision. I'm just saying, in the future, I think it's going to be NFT fundraisers rather than traditional like ICO fundraisers.
I mean, this is like, yeah, we've been speaking about this a lot. And like, if you think about it, when a startup company normally goes public, it's like 8+ years of like operating within environment. It's not like,
but essentially you're doing that from
day one
minus 30.
Like, you know, they haven't even like so many projects haven't even got kind of their operating rhythm yet. And then retail are even worse than like VCs coming in every day. And understandably, it's like, you know, if you would look at like a normal startup, you can't really see the valuation static, right? Because it's not liquid.
Exactly.
But you're actually seeing like a startup's liquid valuation every day. So and like as well as like
I really agree with you guys.
NFT like profile picture gives like identity to the community. And it really like gives like a layer that wasn't there before. That's like one step like deeper engagement for like Kickstarter crowd fundraising. And like for many reasons that you said, like, you know, keeping a token, keeping liquidity, they're all like really costly things. And it should kind of be
just getting on a centralized exchange. Oh my, I know everybody's just like, just list on KuCoin, you know, or just do this, you know. You're like, yeah, okay, no problem. I'll just, you know, call them up and be like, list this for free. And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, when Binance. I know the guy. It's all good. It's like, we play golf together, you know. It's like, no, it's really difficult, and kind of that creates a lot of barriers that projects aren't necessarily aware of when they first start out, and it causes difficulties for sure.
And like one of the things I'm saying is like tokens were meant to be like growth network effects, right? Like you like you look at Bitcoin, early days of Ethereum, they were like literally given out for free. And the idea is you take part
at a party, you got a wallet with
yeah.
coins on it, you know. It's like, so not only do you get your free coins, but you got a free storage device.
And then you like, you contribute, you add to the network, you grow it, you tell people about it, and then like you like, it's meant to be like in that sense kind of an equity. But the whole thing was that like when you got it at the beginning, it was worthless, but now it's kind of used as a fundraising mechanism. And like if you raise like a 60 million FDV in private, you might be valued that at like in private, but the market won't necessarily value that.
Yeah, so it has no care for what you think you're worth.
So then it becomes a game of like, you know, how early did you get in, and like, are you someone's exit liquidity, or are you lucky enough not to be caught by it? And
that was another reason why we went with the flat scale for seed, private and public, like, because we didn't want like somebody in the seed round, just because they were connected to our incubator, to get some sort of advantage over everyone else who, you know, okay, maybe they're backing with a lot more money or whatever, but that's the thing. You're investing in it, you put more stake in it, you have more to risk, and not everybody has 10K to put into a project. Maybe I only have 100K, but that doesn't mean I should get half of what the other guy did when he dumped it, and now my token is it's just craziness. It's craziness, and I hate that part of it. But I really appreciate the support that we got from your team and your community. So yeah, like I said, no regrets, and we'll do everything that we can in our power to make sure that this game does what it's promised. So we'll be planting trees constantly. We'll give you the ability to upgrade your Nunus into that elder state, and then additionally, which wasn't even in that white paper originally, is that kind of idea that we're going to be able to be played as many platforms as possible, and so that we have that ability to be a gateway for new crypto users, people who have never touched crypto before. So that's really important.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. All right. Okay. So yeah, thank you for the meeting and also progress meeting, and it was really, really great talk with you.
Thank you. Yeah, we got a little off target, a little bit there for a while, talking about the future of fundraising, but but I think that's okay, and hopefully nobody's too angry at us for going off topic, because I think it's probably also important for your community as well to know kind of what we're thinking about in the future, and from both a project perspective and from a platform perspective, a launcher perspective. You know, kind of where we're headed in the industry is super important in things to talk about, I think. So I'm glad we had the time and space to do that.
Maybe other people who are thinking about fundraising can, you know, listening to
definitely.
The best people to ask aren't the VCs, the people that have done it themselves. And been through the whole the whole thing, because at the end of the day, once you go out into TGE and you become liquid, like it's you by yourself, right? You and your team.
And you are on your own.
Friends you make along the
way. You find out who your really strong partners are. You really do. So like anybody who reaches out, like DAOLaunch, you know, Sakuro, he's like, hey, we want to do these updates, we want to post it on YouTube, you know, so and we're like, yeah, man, like we'd love to, you know, I can talk about this for hours on end. So I'm always happy to hop on, and we will do this more in the future. We'll have more regular updates. So, you know, not everything gets lost in kind of the dump. But I just wanted to, before we head out, I wanted to remind people about the pre-sale backers that were over 500. You guys will be entitled to a free NFT at INO, and those that backed us at the 100 to 500 range, you guys will get a whitelist ticket for the general pool at INO. So just to remind you guys that we really thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts for supporting us from the very beginning, and we want to show that support. And so as a bonus, just don't forget about that. I know it's still maybe a month or two off, but you know, just kind of keep it in fresh in the head.
Yeah, great. Okay. All right. Thanks for Gabriel for today's meeting, and also like I would like to have like you know, a regular progress meeting, like chat like this one, like once a month or something. And also,
sounds great.
Yeah, appreciate. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Very cool. Cool. Thank you, Reza. Thank you, Sakuro, and thank you, DAOLaunch.
Yeah, thank you, Gabriel, as a Nunu Spirits. Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.